teach you something. I'm gonna spend about 45 minutes to an hour teaching you something that you would have never heard before. That is going to blow your socks off. That is going to tell you the truth about why you struggle with your relationship with food. So in a minute, I'm going to share the slides and I'm going to take you through what I've accumulated through my 8 years of working with people on their eating habits and also struggling with my eating habits myself. So this is a compilation of all of my best strategies, tips, tricks, do's and don'ts about how you can overcome any form of disordered eating. Okay, so I'm very much looking forward to sharing that with you right now. The chat box is still firing away. Fantastic. Yeah, so we've got questions coming through. Who we've got? We've got Debbie, we've got Karen, we've got Sandra, Carrie, Susanna, Anonymous. Can't say your name. Is that your name? Anonymous? Kath. We've got loads of people on here. Amazing stuff. Right. I'm going to share my screen. Do me a favor. Can you confirm with me in the Q&A chat box thing? Can you see my screen? Yeah. Amazing. We can see the screen. Guys, it's a go. It is a go. Right, let me get started then. Okay. So, tonight's training, tonight's workshop, tonight's webinar, I'm going to tell you the truth about disordered eating, how to overcome it, how to heal your relationship with food, what's really going on, why are you really struggling with your relationship with food. I'm going to break it down for you tonight. And what I can promise you, I'll make you a promise right now, and I'm going to come back to this question at the end, you will have clarity on the exact next steps that you need to take to start the process of resolving your eating issues. Okay, I'm gonna come back to that at the end, and I'm gonna keep that promise. I'm gonna make that guarantee. That's what you'll get out of today. So what we're going to cover then, a little bit more specific, how we're going to get to that end point. I'm going to talk about the truth behind disordered eating that the NHS doesn't tell you. I'm going to talk about your relationship with control and why it's ruining your mental health and your eating habits. We're going to talk about the 7 areas of disconnection, the real reason that disordered eating habits, including emotional eating, exist. There's only these 7 areas in your life that you're maybe not addressing or working on. And we're going to create, or you're going to create the next steps for your eating recovery plan. Yeah, that's the guarantee I'm giving you. You're going to have next steps, a blueprint, if you will. This is what I am going to do to move forward then. As a result of Sam's workshop, what I've learned today, this is what I'm doing moving forward. Okay? So setting the intention. Right now, what you will hear tonight and what I will say, it will absolutely challenge your beliefs. It will challenge a lot of the current beliefs you have around willpower, discipline, motivation, why you're struggling, what's really going on when you're turning to food, the real reasons why you may be struggling to lose weight, if that's something you're struggling with. The reason you've been flip-flopping in the yo-yo diet cycle and the binge restrict cycle and God knows what else cycle for however many years, possibly decades. It's going to challenge all of the preconceived notions you currently have around that. But what it will do is give you an action plan. It'll give you a set or a series of next logical steps which will work towards a solution for your problems. I recommend you taking notes. It will help you retain knowledge. Guys, like I do these sort of things all the time, and I'm also participants on them, workshops, personal development things, courses. Do you think I remember everything that I get taught in half an hour, 40 minutes? I don't. I like to take notes. So I really do advise you to write and jot things down. If you get some big insights from today, if I say something that seems to land or resonate and you're like, oh my God, like that's what I needed to hear. That sounds like he's talking exactly about me. Right, I need to jot this down. I need to remember this. It's hard to remember information just in the moment. So I recommend taking notes. It'll help you retain knowledge. Okay. And what I am here to do is help you change your life today. I can't change your life. Only you can do that. But I'm going to provide you a framework. I'm going to provide you a set of next logical steps, okay? And I can promise you, if you apply these future strategies, you'll get results, guaranteed. Because I've already helped thousands of people get these results, and I'm teaching you the exact framework and how I helped those thousands of people get results tonight, okay? So, before I get into the teaching point, I'm sitting in this seat saying all these things, giving you all these promises, talking about all these, strategies, resources, next logical steps. But what makes me qualified to sit here and do that? Like, for all you know, I could just be full of shit. Couldn't I? I could just say anything. And I totally understand that. So What makes me in a position to say, I can help you overcome your issues with eating. I can help you find a strategy to overcome serious disordered eating that the NHS wasn't able to help you with. I can give you a framework that's tried and tested and that works. How am I in a position to even say that? Well, like I mentioned before, I've had thousands of clients who I've helped through this framework over the years, for the last 8 years or so. I'm an emotional eating coach. That's my business. That's my job. That's how I've got a career. Yeah. That's why I'm sitting in the seat right now. I'm also a public speaker. I guess I could class myself as an author because I've got an audiobook out. But also, I've overcome my own serious disordered eating habits, which were massively linked to anxiety and depression. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that for the next 2 or 3 minutes. So not only am I going to sit here and say, hey, look, I'm walking the walk. There's me telling you what I can do. I've got the T-shirt as well. You know, I can talk the talk and walk the walk. I've been where you are. I'm just maybe 8 years ahead. I've been doing this recovery, this mindset work, this emotional regulation work for 8 years longer than you right now. That's all. I'm no different. I'm exactly where you maybe currently are. I was exactly at that point at some point in myself in the past. So what I'm saying here does not only just come from the results I've helped other people get, it comes from my personal experience. Okay? Every single strategy that I'm going to teach you tonight will be something I've either tried and tested and practiced on myself, or I've witnessed a client go through the strategy and have great success. I'll even show you where I got some of my information from. I didn't make this all up. I'm a collector of information and knowledge, and I simply gather that and accumulate that and then provide it in a structured way that anyone can utilize. So I've done the research for you and I've tested it out for you, and I'm providing the findings for you. So why did I struggle with my eating habits then? So there's a picture of me on the left. That was 10 years ago now. I was in my early 20s, I believe. And that was one of, not the first, but one of the first restrictive diets, let's say, I ever went on. Yeah, give me a little yes or a me too in the chat box if you've ever went on a diet where it worked, you got in great shape, or maybe you lost a bunch of weight, but you had to resort to extreme measures to get there. Like me, going on 1,200 calories a day for 6 weeks, not eating carbs. I think I maintained that shape, in the gym, all 6-pack, for about a month. And then I rebounded back to that. Now, that isn't a month after. That's a couple of years after. But the truth is, I repeated this cycle, guys, where I would do a bodybuilding show or a fitness photo shoot, because I was, up-and-coming personal trainer, bodybuilder, aspiring to those things, right? So I'd do the crazy things to get in shape, deprive myself, restrict myself, put my self-worth on a pedestal of I'm only good enough if I look like this, then I couldn't maintain it because my mental health would go down the toilet, and then I would turn to food as a coping mechanism, and then I'd bounce back and gain 30, 40 pounds. I did this like 7 or 8 times over like 2 or 3 years. Lost weight, gain weight, lost weight, gain weight. Restrict, binge. To the point it got to there, 2018, I'm on holiday there, which I will say was a holiday that I paid for on a credit card with money that I didn't have. I was unemployed at the time. My personal training business hadn't worked out. I wasn't really working. I wasn't doing much. I was struggling with panic attacks. I was emotionally eating. I was drinking a lot. And I would fluctuate between, 30, 40 pounds quite drastically in quite a short space of time. And I would do this a lot. And I didn't know how to get out of that cycle. Like I said, for me, I didn't know at the time, that guy in the photo, 2018, but I didn't realize that I was using food as a coping mechanism. I thought it was just willpower. I thought I was just broken. I thought, right, I'll just do one more diet and I'll get back to that guy on the left. But it took me that many attempts, that many years of binge, restrict, weight gain, weight loss, anxiety, depression, to go, hang on, something's not right here. I'm not in control here. I'm literally rock bottom right now. I am at the mercy of my coping mechanism. I am a slave to my emotions. I don't know what I'm doing. I had to reach that point. So I don't know where you are on your journey right now, but how many of these diets have you been on? How many decades have you been in the cycle for? I was in it for 3 or 4 years, and that was enough. That was 3 or 4 years too much as far as I'm concerned. What about you? 3 or 4 decades? Maybe not that long, but maybe 3 or 4 years as well. I don't know how long. How long we're talking? Are you willing to continue doing that? So I don't know about you, but that guy, I don't think I could have continued not doing that another week. I don't think I'd be here. I don't want to get morbid. I've only been on 10 minutes, but I think I'd be 6 foot under right now because that's how bad it was. That's how bad my mental health was. So have you had that moment yet? Before we move forward, because I want to know you're serious here. Have you had that moment yet where you're like, this is enough. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. I need to solve this problem now and once and for all. I need you to have that moment. You need you to have that moment. We in agreement here? We on the same page? Let us know in the chat box while I have a sip of my coffee. Looks like we are then. I'm seeing some thumbs up and some yeses and some reactions. Great, we can crack on then. There's me like 6 years later. It's actually my client Debbie. I think Debbie might be on this workshop actually. I'm sure I see her name. That's at our last client event that we run 2 or 3 times a year. We're all about clients from all around the country. Literally, Debbie drove out 7 hours to see me. How did I get from that point, 2018, to literally now helping people overcome the very same things that I struggled with years ago, to where they come from all over the country to stay in a room with me, to learn from me, to emulate me, to be mentored by me? I'm so grateful, guys. I can't even put into words. Like, it's a bit of a surreal moment, me even sitting here and explaining this and delivering this right now, because I remember that guy. Holy shit, do I remember that guy. So how did I get from that to that? To a healthy weight. I've maintained the same weight for years now. I'm in relatively good shape. I'm no longer chasing the extreme standards of the guy on the left, but I'm genuinely happy and content with where I'm at. How did I do that? How did I become alcohol free? No longer using alcohol. 3 years sober. No longer emotional eating at all. I would consider myself to have a very, very good relationship with food. Very authentic. I'm going to talk about that very soon and how I can help you achieve that. How have I worked with 2,000 clients since 2018? And how have I taught them the same framework that got me out of that cycle? That's what I'm going to teach you today. So before we get into all the major strategies, right, let's break down disordered eating for a second, because emotional eating, I don't know what word you use, but what does emotional eating even mean? I don't even know, to be honest. It's just a bit of a general blanket term within this whole disordered eating spectrum, shall we say. And I'll come back to this point later, but a lot of these symptoms, these behaviors, they overlap. Like, I was both binging and restricting. I guess if I went to a doctor's at the time, I mean, I didn't. I was doing the whole male ego thing of, I know, no one can help me. I'll just do this on my own, power through. I don't want to seem weak. Maybe even denying it to myself that I had a problem. I don't know. I guess if I went at the time, they'd probably say, yeah, you've got bulimia, because I was binging, purging. I can remember a specific, this is a low moment, guys. 2017 time, I remember I had a big binge, right? And I remember feeling so guilty and so ashamed. In the middle of the night, I crept downstairs. I was still living at my mum and dad's house at the time. I waited till my mum and dad were asleep, crept downstairs, went in the bathroom. I got this is a moment of madness, but I remember doing it. Products from the bathroom cabinet and put them in water and, made a little drink, and I started gargling and swallowing it and sticking my fingers down my throat in an attempt to be sick. I don't even think I was sick. I think I was just, gagging the soap and water out my mouth and just lying on the floor thinking, what the fuck am I doing? And pardon my French if people don't like swearing, but it's my channel. I'll swear if I want. But in all seriousness, I was a bit of a low moment. What was driving me to do those things? What was going on in my life to where I would stoop that low and I would have such an issue with what? Food? With my body? Like, I'm not saying those things are not important, guys, but are they things to be literally depressed and suicidal about? I don't think they should be, even though they are for a lot of people, including me in the past. Why am I in this position? Why am I lying here right now with soap and water in my mouth, crying, feeling like my life's over because I've had another binge? What's going on? So let's break down some of these symptoms, these behaviors, right, of disordered eating. Let's get clear on what you're doing, because you might be different to me, and I'm different to Debbie, and then Susan's different to Debbie again, and then Dave around the corner, he's completely different. Basically, my point is everyone's different. What's going on with you? I want you to get critically clear. What are the symptoms of your eating habits looking like? What do you have a problem with? What do you not have a problem with? What is going on that you are going to finally start addressing? Okay, so binge eating, let's look at that. Let's call that a loss of control around food, where you eat large amounts in one setting, often feeling unable to stop. This is where you eat past the point of fullness, to the point where you might be literally incapacitated, bloated, maybe, actually being sick. I've been there myself. You're in a position where you've now incapacitated yourself. If you're an animal in Africa, you'd be, slim pickings for the predators. You wouldn't be able to move. You seen them nature things when the lions eat too much and then humans can walk around them and they like lift their tails up and blow on them and they're just like, they can't even move. So yeah, you messed up. Hyenas come in your tribe now that pick you to shreds. You wouldn't be able to defend yourself. They've ate so much. Have you ever been like that, where you literally can't even leave the house, you can't even move? You're so bursting full because you've overate rather. Feelings of guilt, shame, disgust will then follow after eating. This is a big sign of you're a binge eater, that you're experiencing and struggling with binge eating, because of the big energy dump that comes after. Maybe you eat in secret. Maybe you hide food. Maybe you hide food to the point when you've now got to replace it, to hide it from your family members. And there's this whole sense of guilt and shame added to it. And it's like an addict hiding the bottles of wine in the recycling bin, waiting for your husband to go to work, and then you take them out. Is that what it's become? Because it gets like that. Maybe you start feeling numb or disassociated while you're eating. Maybe you use food to numb yourself or disassociate because you don't want to be present. You don't want to be present with your life. That's the symptoms of binge eating. But what's really going on? Is it a problem with food? Is it a problem with willpower? It's what it looks like, but that's the symptom. The root cause is it's a coping mechanism for emotional pain, stress, overwhelm, not wanting to be present in your life, wanting to escape, wanting to get rid of a feeling, wanting to suppress it, wanting to push it down. What often follows binge eating is restriction, maybe serious food rules. I'm only going to eat 500 calories tomorrow. I'm going to diet, I'm going to make up for it. I'm going to cut my carbs out. The body will then fight back because you'll be in this binge restrict cycle where your energy will just be all over the place. Digestion will be all over the place. You'll not know whether you're coming or going. Your hunger will be all over the place. You'll not develop any normal hunger patterns. You'll either be starving hungry and unable to control your urges, or you'll be bursting full, not wanting to eat ever again. You seem to struggle with being balanced and in the middle. That's binge eating. Let me know in the chat box, are you experiencing any of those symptoms? Is that something you resonate with? Is that what's going on for you right now? I talked about bulimia before, let's cover that. This can be a bit more of a serious, more diagnosed disorder that you may have to go to therapy or a doctor's for. But let's talk about it because it's more common than you think. I was doing it without even realizing. Eating large amounts of food in one go and trying to get rid of it through vomiting, laxatives, fasting. A client signed up with me a couple of weeks ago and she told me a horrible story. Like literally for the last 10, 15 years, she's been in this yo-yo diet restrict binge cycle to where she would take laxatives every day to try and overcome these binges and get rid of it. And so she thought in her mind, even though that's not going to do anything as far as the weight gain or weight loss, you've metabolized that food, guys. That's just waste products. It's just water. It's just whatever's left in your stomach. It might help you lose 4 or 5 pounds of fluid, but it ain't helping you lose body fat. But anyway, that's a different topic for a different training. But basically, she used to leave the house every day worrying about, I'm just going to be honest, am I going to poo myself? Am I going to need the bathroom? And she was in this constant state of anxiety because of this binge restrict cycle, to where it now messed up her digestive system because of all these laxatives she was taking. It was actually creating disturbances in her life. And that was so sad for me to hear that. She was stuck on that cycle for years. She's doing better. She's recovering. She's working with me. But I hear these stories all the time. That's what I'm trying to say. Extreme feelings of guilt or panic after eating. Constantly thinking about how to undo food choices. Maybe even feeling relief after you binge or purge, but then feeling guilt or shame later. Side effect of this is obviously frequent fluctuations in weight, bloating, digestive distress from the binges and purging cycles. Again, what's really going on here? The real problem, bulimia is not just about the food. It's a way of trying to control emotions. It's a way of trying to control your body. It's a way of trying to create a temporary relief from things like shame, anxiety, or stress. This cycle, the driving factor behind this cycle unconsciously is this perfectionism standard, this body obsession, or maybe even a deep sense of self-loathing where you don't feel you are good enough because of some other reason that's actually got nothing to do with your body, and you don't know how to process that deep feeling of I'm not good enough, so you take it out on your body and you project it into that. It's the only thing you know how to do. It's the only thing you can control. It's only the only tangible thing that you've got to look at and blame almost. It's my body. That's what it is. That's why I'm unhappy. It's like, really? What about the other areas of your life? Is that going very well right now? Is it just about your body? But when people don't want to address those areas in their life that's actually driving these eating behaviours, we'll make it all about our body. We'll punish ourselves, we'll restrict ourselves, we'll binge, we'll purge, all that sort of stuff, because it's a distraction. So it's a way to control our emotions. If we make it all about the food, we'll get ourselves in a guilt, shame cycle that'll take up all of the thoughts in our mind, and we'll basically blind ourselves to a bigger picture. Yo-yo dieting, probably, I'm going to take a shot in the dark. Most people who are on this webinar tonight, this is probably what you're experiencing. Some people might be falling into some of the more serious disordered eating categories. I'm well aware of that. Most people are going to be this yo-yo diet cycle or a chronic weight cycle. That's what we'll call it. Are you a chronic weight cycler? Is that what you are? Do you lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight? You've been doing this for decades? Do you lose a lot of weight, then gain it back, and then sometimes gain more back than you did before, finding yourself in a worse off position? Do you go through phases of strict eating, followed by uncontrollable eating? Do you go through phases of feeling hopeful, in control, when you're sticking to your diet and you're feeling good? Oh, I'm being good this week. And then are you off the rails and hopeless and out of control the next? Do you constantly think about the next diet or the next weight loss plan? Do you constantly put your self-worth on a pedestal of I'll feel good enough, or I'll be good enough, or I'll finally be happy when I lose the weight, when I get into the dress size? Are these the things that you're telling yourself? Is that what your little devil on the shoulder's telling you every day? You'll be happy when? Again, the problem, a lot of people think, oh, it's discipline, it's willpower. I just need more willpower. I need more motivation. I just need a way to feel ready, then I'll do it. Yo-yo dieting's not a lack of willpower or discipline. It's a response to a shit strategy for weight loss. That's what it's a response to. It doesn't work. I've experienced that before and after with me before, earlier on, 10 minutes ago. Yo-yo dieting to where you'll be good for a couple of days or a couple of weeks, hey, maybe even months, maybe even years. Maybe you managed to stick to it and you followed this certain diet for a while, and then you thought you were like, oh, this is normal now, I'm out the cycle, and then bang, life got in the way, something happened, a stress, a trauma, a divorce, your parents died, a child was born, you got a new job, you got an injury, you broke your leg, before you know it, boom, right back to where you were. Extreme diets often trigger the binge restrict cycle though. So a lot of people are trying to lose weight in extreme ways, and this causes them to go the other way. So they just find themselves stuck in this cycle. Also, weight cycling damages your metabolism, guys. It negatively impacts your mental health, and it certainly impacts your self-esteem. Because when you try and lose weight over and over again, and then you don't, you'll start to believe that there's something wrong with you. You'll start using things and saying, well, that's the reason why. It's this, it's that. I must be broken. You'll internalize all this, and you'll completely tear yourself down and shrink yourself down to a little nub of self-esteem. Because you've got all the evidence and the proof that, hey, I must be broken, it's never going to happen for me. Is that really true, or is that literally just a symptom or a consequence of your, unfortunately, terrible dieting strategy? You're really broken? Are you really incapable of overcoming this? Or have you just done stupid shit in the past that was never going to work, and then you've kidded yourself for so long, and you've never kind of woke up and smelled the coffee? Is that? And I'm being frank and blunt with you right now, because I've got to be. Because you're not going to listen unless I'm frank and blunt with you. Is that what's going on here? Now, emotional eating, that's actually in the wrong place. Come back to that one. Anorexia, everyone's aware of that. Probably the most, well-known eating disorder. But even that has symptoms of very similar to some of the other food issues we've talked about. So Anorexia might be an anxiety or a fear around eating certain foods or eating too much. Preoccupation with the body dysmorphia may tie into this. Obsessively counting calories and macros, obsessively tracking food, an extreme fear of gaining weight even if you're underweight. Maybe symptoms like feeling cold, fatigued, low immune system, weak due to a lack of nutrition. Maybe you skip meals or you eat very little, you go long periods without food. Again, anorexia isn't just about a food issue. The food issue is the symptom. The root cause is about control, being in control, controlling our body, because it's the only thing we can control in my life. We're going through this horrible trauma, maybe a suppressed trauma from the past, and someone who's struggling with anorexia may use food or the lack of food to control their body and therefore numb themselves, to avoid emotions, to make it about that, to distract themselves from the other things, to suppress emotions. Can often be linked to perfectionism, high expectation of oneself, deep-rooted anxiety, normally associated with gaining weight and self-worth and esteem, and what will that make me if I gain weight? So I better double down and control it. Basically, the body will go into survival mode. This will lead to an obsession with food. You might not be aware of this, but think about it logically. You can only restrict or not eat for a certain amount of time until you literally die. So how do people struggle with anorexia for decades? Because they binge as well. Infrequently, not to the point where they gain weight, but that's the only thing that keeps them alive. Because eventually when you restrict yourself so much, your body goes into survival mode and it'll override whatever beliefs you've got about why you need to restrict food, and you'll just end up binging. And if you don't, it's only a matter of time before you compromise your immune system so much that you develop diseases, maybe you get sick, or maybe you just pass away due to malnutrition. So even people who are under eating also binge eat. This is what I'm saying about all disordered eating habits, behaviors associated with that. They kind of all overlap. Emotional eating is a bit of a spectrum. It's not one over here, one over there, because a lot of the driving factors psychologically are actually very much linked. Orthorexia, you might not know this one, but it's another term coined for this obsession with clean eating. Maybe people who mentioned that or liked in the chat box, or said in the chat box that they were yo-yo dieters, chronic weight cyclers. Maybe you've experienced some of this as well. Extreme focus on healthy, pure or clean eating, a fear or anxiety around eating anything unhealthy, feeling superior, getting kind of feelings of grandeur when you are eating better than other people, when you're on your diet, you're comparing yourself, it gives you some sort of moral high ground. I've been there, I've been that guy, I definitely put my worth in my eating habits, and I would be like, yeah, I'm good, I'm better than other people because I'm eating healthy and I'm in shape. That's what I'd feel like when I was having one of my good days, right? Obviously, what goes up comes down. Maybe spending excessive time planning, researching, obsessing over meals. I remember I used to ruin every date I had with my girlfriend because I had to analyse the menu for days or weeks in advance to know exactly what I was having. It kind of starts taking over your life. I've took Tupperware boxes to restaurants before. I've not ate at parties. I've tried to clean eat over Christmas Day. I've done it all. Maybe you've avoided social occasions or events due to restaurants or food concerns. There's a feeling of guilt or self-hatred after eating something bad. So the psychological driving factors that's causing you to demonstrate or participate in some of these behaviours. Health obsession could become a form of control. You're out of control in other areas of your life. You don't want to deal with it. It's too frightening and scary to think about. So I'll just control my body. I'll just control what I eat. I'll distract myself with that. And the reality is you don't even know you're doing it. People with eating disorders or disordered eating don't know they're doing it. They think it's all about the food, but it's not. It's a coping mechanism from something else. Obsessive food habits or an obsession with weight loss, really that's an underlying fear and anxiety that's driving the behavior. There's some sort of fear and anxiety that's happening unconsciously behind the scenes that's driving your need. I just need to lose weight. I just need to sort this out. And then I'll be happy. Then my life will be better. And that may or may not be true. We can't say for sure. But I can absolutely guarantee you, and what I can tell you for sure, is there's some sort of other issue going on in your personal life that you're absolutely not addressing. Just easier to make it all about the food. Emotional eating. This might not mean you binge or you do any of the other things, but maybe you just get stressed, you overeat, and then you're like, oh my God, how am I going to respond to it? And you feel guilt, you feel shame. Maybe you continue overeating, or maybe you get back on the wagon. It's a little bit like yo-yo dieting, but specifically related to when I feel a certain emotion, I turn to food. Maybe this is craving specific foods when you're overwhelmed. Maybe this is not being able to sit with the feeling of anxiety without turning to chocolate. This is a way for food to numb or disconnect from your life, from your body, from your mind. Maybe you eat alone, you eat in secret. You don't want people to see you. There's a big amount of shame attached to eating. That's emotional eating. Again, emotional eating is not about food. It's about needing emotional comfort. And when you don't know how to give yourself emotional comfort, you're going to turn to a coping mechanism. Well, we've all been emotionally eating, guys, since we're babies, right? Baby cries, mum feeds it, baby feels better. We were all babies once. That's kind of imprinted on your brain. There's a biological reason why we feel comforted by food, because it literally means you're going to survive, you're not going to die. You've got some nutrition in your body, right? You can relax a little bit. That's what your ancient brain is thinking. That's why it's easy to turn to food. Easy. Because in that moment, you'll soothe a part of your unconscious mind, a part of your nervous system, that ancient brain that's just an animal wanting survival. Your body, your brain, your ancient brain doesn't know that you're stressed about what Brenda said at the office. Your body's just like, this doesn't feel good. What guarantees that we'll definitely survive is if we eat, so let's eat and see what happens. Many people also learn as children that food is love, safety, or relief. I'll get into past traumas in childhood and things soon, because it's a big factor, unfortunately, but it is a reality. The real issue with this, if you consider yourself an emotional eater, which I bet you do, otherwise what you're doing here, the real issue is not about willpower, diets, and knowledge, and I just need to try harder. It's you don't know how to process emotions. There's certain emotions that you experience regularly right now or infrequently that when you feel them, you don't know what to do. Just like I didn't know what to do back in the day when I was having a panic attack. I knew if I went downstairs and ate 5 bagels and jam, I'd probably feel better and get to sleep. In that moment, I didn't care about the guilt and shame that would follow the next day. I was just like, I don't want to feel anxious anymore. Please help me escape. I didn't even realize I was doing it. I thought it was about the food, but that's what it was about. I don't know what your version of it is about, but I can guarantee you it's something similar. You don't know how to feel this feeling. You're frightened of it. You're scared of it. You don't know what to do. And that's not necessarily your fault. If I asked you to speak Chinese right now, you probably couldn't. But that doesn't mean you couldn't learn. Probably take a while. I don't know how long it'd take you to speak Chinese. Maybe a year or something of classes every week. But you could learn. It's not impossible. It's not impossible that you can overcome this emotional eating cycle. You just need to learn how. And how is, I need to learn how to process my emotions in a way that allows me to sit there, feel the feelings, deal with it in a healthier way than stuffing my face. That's what's going on, guys. Don't know how else to tell you this. But that's what's going on. Not your fault that you're in this position. Absolutely not. And I'll explain why very, very soon. But it is your responsibility, if you are in this position and you're hearing, what I'm saying right now, to do something about it. Because no one else can learn how to process emotions for you. That's your job. Not easy. Nobody teaches you. Your parents don't. The teachers at school didn't. Your friends are not gonna. It's hard. I'm not denying that. It's hard. Hardest thing you'll ever learn how to do. It still is for me. It's an ongoing thing. Do you think I think I'm perfect? No. But I accept my role of responsibility in this process of me learning how to be responsible for my own emotions. Because we're all adults here. Nobody else is responsible for your emotions. You are. And if you don't like some of the emotions you're experiencing right now, that's not your fault. You feel how you feel. But it is your responsibility to learn how to work through those feelings. Nobody else can do that for you. If you want some relief in your life, you've got to learn how to do that. And if you want to overcome the emotional eating cycle, you've certainly got to learn how to do that. Last one, nighttime eating syndrome. This is specifically, I'm not a fan of labeling things as syndrome, but I thought I'd cover it because a lot of people like me, I would class myself as having this back in the day. I wouldn't binge during the day. I wouldn't binge on a morning. I wouldn't turn to food at all during the day. It would be on a nighttime when I struggled to settle, when I felt irritable, when I couldn't sleep, when I felt anxious, when I felt nervous, when I felt depressed, when I'd think about my life, when I'd realise the empty spaces in it. That's when I would overeat compulsively at night. So again, don't label yourself, oh, I've got this new syndrome. I'm going to change my Instagram bio and say I'm a nighttime eating syndrome. Don't do that. I'm not a fan of linking yourself to these labels and identifying with it. What I am a fan of is saying, I recognize the behavior and I sometimes do that. So can I work through it? So if you identify with that, great, okay? Again, the problem, often linked to stress, sleep deprivation, emotional regulation issues, restricting too much during the day. Not eating enough during the day can cause you to overeat on a night time. The body will always crave comfort and energy and relaxation after the end of a day, after we feel exhausted. So it's more natural. Think of our hunter-gatherer ancestors. They wouldn't wake up and have breakfast. They didn't do that. They didn't have any breakfast. They went out and went, we need to kill a woolly mammoth. Otherwise, we're going to starve this by next week. So they'd find food over a couple of days. They'd bring it all back. The village would feast, and then they'd go and do it all again. They didn't do that in the morning. They didn't hunt at night. They hunted during the day, and they ate at night. So it's natural for us to go, right, end of the day, let's settle down, let's eat something. Because then the body goes, right, we've survived. We can now chill out and go to sleep. Moving forward then. Let's have a little look at the chat box, Q&A box. Yeah, we've got people resonating then. We've got people resonating. Great stuff. Thanks for chiming in. Okay, I want to see which one are you. I want you to tell me after I explain this. Are you a Charlotte or you're an Annie? Right? These are two clients of mine. I've made them up, but they're really kind of manifestations of actual clients I've had, right? I've just changed the names, basically. And I use this with my clients, and I talk about it. And I've done trainings on, I spoke on stage about this. I think I may even mention it in my new book that I'm writing, which will be available in about 3 months. Two examples of people here. We're going to look at focus and attention. What do these two people focus and what are their attention is on? So Charlotte, right? This is a pie chart, right? I don't know if you can see it, but pie chart. Remember them in school? Pie chart. 75% of Charlotte's focus and attention in her overall life is on shape and weight. It's on her body. It's on losing weight. It's on being healthy. It's on eating, exercising, everything associated with managing shape and weight. It only leaves 25% left over for Charlotte to enjoy music, to enjoy work, to enjoy her family. Charlotte's got 2 kids. She gives them 10% of her energy, 10% of her focus, 10% of her emotional energy. Why? Because 75% of her waking thoughts are spent worrying about her body. Whereas Annie, on the other hand, she's got 2 kids as well. She understands that she can't give 100% more because she's got to focus on her friends, she's got to focus on work, she's got to focus on her health and fitness. She's a bit more balanced. Every part of her life, the most important things, her self-care, her hobbies, her relationships, her family, her health and wellness, all have an even slice of the pie. Give me a little chat box message. Which one do you think's got better mental health? Charlotte or Annie? Which one do you think's got better results? Charlotte or Annie? Which one do you think you are? Charlotte or Annie? Guys, weight loss, eating habits, your body, your weight shouldn't take up that much space in your mind. If it does, there's a problem. There's something that's not being spoken about. There's something that you're not addressing. There's something you're not changing in your life. So how do you get to be like my client Annie, to where shape and weight is important? It's an important part of her life. It's health, it's fitness. Why wouldn't she want to eat healthy, lose weight, and feel sexy when she goes on holiday and wears a bikini, when she goes to the beach? Why wouldn't she? But it's not her entire life. She's got other things. She's got balance. She's got good relationships. She's got hobbies. She has time and energy left over for all the amazing things in her life. She's not drained and burned out. Whereas Charlotte, on the other hand, completely exhausted, binging, restricting, overeating, losing weight, gaining weight. Relationships are non-existent. Her partner's sick of her. Never slept with each other in 2 years. Just so exhausted. She's got no time left for her kids. She's trying to get her kids off the iPad. She wonders why. She's not giving them attention. She can't. She's got nothing left. She's got nothing in the tank. She's trying her hardest. She's trying her best. She's completely burnt out and overwhelmed by how much focus and attention food and eating and shape and weight is taking away from her life right now. So how do we go from being a Charlotte to an Annie? What do I have to do? So Charlotte is what I class as she's over-evaluating the sense of worthiness that one gets from their weight and their shape. She's defining her entire self-worth as dependent on what she weighs and what she looks like, her weight, her dress size. She says things to herself. She thinks things like this. Who I am depends on what I weigh. I'm not a good person unless I look like insert beauty standard that Charlotte is comparing herself to. Do you ever find yourself doing that? Have you kind of overvaluated how much weight and shape matters? Have you put your self-esteem on a pedestal of I'm only good enough if I look like this? And has that been the driving factor behind all of your eating habits all of these years that you didn't even realize? Because really, you were just unbalanced in your life. You weren't focused on relationships as much as you should have been. You weren't focused on your self-care as much as you should have been. You weren't focused on your hobbies as much as you should have been. Everything was about weight. You taught yourself it's all about weight. It's all about how I look. I'm not sure. Is that you? Am I speaking to your soul right now? Because this is what was going on for me all them years ago. Question for you. Could your current beliefs around food and your body be causing you to develop some of those disordered eating habits we talked about? Could it be down to your beliefs? The things that you walk around and carry with on a daily basis? The things that are on your mind when you're tossing and turning at night? When you're sitting on the toilet in the morning? When you're scrolling on your phone on your lunch break? When you're driving to work in your car? This chatter. I need to lose weight. I'm not good enough. If only I looked better in that dress. If only I had more willpower. If only I could eat better. Is this taking up too much space in your head right now? And could that space being taken up in your head have caused you to develop some disordered eating habits? It's a powerful question, that, isn't it? Some root causes of this: body dissatisfaction. Like I always say this, right? If you're unhappy with your body, that's generally okay, right? If you're unhappy with your body, go you. Like I'm proud that you want to do something about it. It's just that some people take that to the extreme and that creates issues such as body preoccupation. Again, Charlotte is preoccupying her waking thoughts with my body is what matters, so it's taking up space from everything else. Maybe there's some anxiety issues linked to fear of gaining weight. There's social comparisons going on. There's obsessive body checking and body avoidance. These are the 5 root causes that I established with my Charlotte client, with my Charlotte character. These were the 5 things that were responsible. She was unhappy with her body, which is fine. She wanted to do something about that, which was great, but she was doing something about it in the completely wrong way. She was completely overcome with thoughts of how she looked in comparison to other people. Not able to walk along the street without sizing herself up. She bigger than me? Am I bigger than her? A constant fear of gaining weight to the point where she'll obsessively check her body. She'll go on the scales 3 times a day. She'll weigh in weekly. She'll do measurements. She'll look at herself in the mirror. She'll have all the calorie tracking apps and stats and heart rate monitors and bloody whatever else that they do these days. She's obsessed with it. But all these are causing disturbances in Charlotte's life, which are therefore driving these unconscious behaviors, these responses to emotions, these reliance on food for comfort, these restrict and binge cycles. Before I get into the final strategy of today, which is going to allow you to create your binge eating blueprint and figure out what's really going on in your life and why you are really struggling with your food and what to do about it, let's look at the word disorder for a second, right? The definition of the word disorder: lack of order. That's the definition. Think about that, right? Listen to what I'm saying. Disorder. If there was rioting going on outside my office right now, there'd be anarchy, right? There'd be a lack of order. The police weren't able to come in. What would be going on? It'd be crazy, right? It'd be lawless. There's a lack of order, we'd say, right? That's a state of confusion, chaos, a lack of organisation, a disruption of a normal structure which ceases to function, whether this is a system, an environment, or an individual. So when it comes to mental health disorders or eating disorders specifically, that's an individual experiencing a lack of order. There's some sort of confusion, chaos, lack of structure, lack of organisation, a disruption within their environment that they may or may not be in control of. That's creating the symptom, the disorder. So all eating disorders, in some way, shape or form, are a symptom of lack of order in one's personal life. And if we're not addressing what's the lack of order in one's personal life, then you're not going to deal with the disorder. It's going to persist. It's going to continue. Disordered eating behaviours are a spectrum. They overlap, but they're all linked to one thing. Can you guess? Begins with a C. If there's disorder going on in the streets, what have we lost a sense of? What have we lost a sense of? There we go. Carrie's been listening. Control. It's all into control. Whether you're binging to overcome or deal with emotions that feel out of control, whether you're restricting your body to control your body due to other feelings of being out of control, they all overlap at the point of control. All the eating disorders and symptoms and behaviours are completely different. They look different on the surface level, but they all lead back to the same path. Different exits down the motorway, same motorway. They're all roads that lead to the same path eventually. So how do you deal with the loss of control then? The emotion of uncertainty. In that moment, I feel X. I don't want to feel X. I want to feel Y. How do I get to Y? I don't know, so I'll turn to Z. Z is food. For me, it was, I don't like this feeling of anxiety. This frightens me. I don't know how to deal with this. I will use food to push this feeling down. And I didn't even realize I was in that cycle. It was unconscious. I'm just using anxiety as an example. Insert whatever emotion you think you've resonated with tonight. That's exactly why you turn to food. Exactly why you can't lose weight. It's exactly why you failed all these diets you went on the past however many years. Because in that moment when you felt out of control, you didn't know what to do. And that wasn't your fault, but in that moment, you didn't know what to do. So you went back to what you did know what to do, which was, I'll just eat my feelings. And this cycle's repeated. Specifically, every moment when you turn to food, it's repeating, reaffirming, creating feedback to the point when you literally will just give up. I don't know if there's anyone in here right now, but maybe you've give up. Well, you haven't if you've come on here. You obviously want to change. But maybe you thought about giving up, or maybe you did for a large period of time, or maybe you're so friggin' close to giving up. You're like wafer thin ice right now, half drowning. You've got a thumb out, just tapping yes on the webinar slides. You're basically gone, right? Well, climb out a little bit, right? You can do it. You just need to learn how. So how do we create a sense of order? If we know that our eating issues come from a lack of order in our personal life, the solution, the opposite. We create order in our life. Definition of order, state of organisation, structure and control. Healthy forms of control. Not seeking it in areas that we can't change, seeking it in areas that we absolutely can, and creating a sense of certainty to which things are arranged properly, functioning smoothly, follow a logical or unexpected pattern. Who would have thought it, eh? Who would have thought that the solution to your problems is getting bloody organised with your personal life? Who would have thought it? No, it wasn't another Slimming World. No, it wasn't another carb-free diet. It was you going, what the bloody hell am I unhappy about? And what the bloody hell can I do about it? So I don't feel all these horrible emotions as much. So I don't turn to food as much. So I can stick to this bloody diet and lose some bloody weight. Who would have thought it? Eh? Who would have thought all along it was that simple? Well, it ain't simple. Well, It is simple. It's just not easy. I think things can be simple. This is a logical, clear, simple process I'm going to teach you, but it's just not easy. It requires a lot of effort, right? So the 7 voids, you might want to take notes here. Which one of these 7 voids are you experiencing right now? And this is why you're still turning to food for comfort. And if you want to stop turning to food for comfort, you need to create an action plan to start solving some of these voids, okay? Number 1, disconnection from work. Do you know how many clients I've had who, well, especially when I was a PT back in the day, I'd have clients who come in Monday, Wednesday, Friday, do the 6 a.m. gym session, full of beans, full of motivation, smashing it, sending me WhatsApps all week, saying, I'm doing great, everything's amazing. Monday morning, what's up? I binged all weekend, I'm stressed, I'm never going to lose weight, I feel like giving up. Whoa, what's going on? What's happened? Well, just work, I'm just so stressed, I just get home on a Friday night, I just can't deal with it, I just spend all day in the house just eating crap, and I feel so guilty that I spend all Sunday eating crap as well, and I come here every Monday morning feeling like there's no point. I'm like, whoa, okay, right, let's address this, what's going on with work? I knew that back then. So if you dread or hate your job, if you're unfulfilled from it, if you feel trapped, like, jobs take up 30, 40, 50, possibly more hours of your time every single week. If we're supposed to be sleeping for 8 hours a day as well, guys, and working for 8 or 12, doesn't leave a lot of time left over for us. How easy is it to fall into the trap of just dysregulated, mindless eating? Because of your job just completely taking a priority in your life. So whether this is you having a lack of boundaries or a strategy or a structure with being able to balance work and personal life and everything else in between, or if this is literally you just saying, I bloody hate my job, but I'm too frightened to do anything about it. I hate to tell you, but it's one of the most common ones that people struggle with their eating habits because their job's just so stressful. Before we get into some of the deeper, under the surface root causes, we're going to look at the obvious. That's the obvious to me. It's what you do the most of. I work 40, 50 hours a week. It's what you do the most of. So what you do the most of has to be spoken about. And if that's causing an issue, what we're going to do about it? Again, the Charlotte versus the Annie character. Annie had balance in her life to where she had hobbies and values. She had a sense of purpose and identity. She had long-term things. She had short-term things. She had a bit of a mission. She had goals. She had fun things to look forward to. She knew what she liked to do. She expressed herself. She had things to get pleasure from. If she had a hard day, she had hobbies and exercise and music and seeing friends and social opportunities. Charlotte had nothing. Her only hobby was 5% of the time listening to music, and that's not really a hobby. Not really. Sort of, but not really. Whereas Annie had things to get pleasure from. That wasn't food. She had things to look forward to. She could be at her desk on Wednesday, get the urge to binge and go, no, I'm meeting my friend for horse riding classes tonight. I just made that up. I'm gonna focus on that. So glad I did that. I had a great night at horse riding class with my friend. So glad I didn't binge. She had a carrot dangled in front of her. She had an incentive. She had something to look forward to. If you don't have anything to look forward to in your life right now, and the most exciting part of your day is what can I sit and veg out in front of the TV with and eat because I've had a shit day and I've got nothing to look forward to, if that's your life, then no wonder you struggle with eating. It's the most exciting thing you've got. Food has become your hobby. It's become your way to cope. It's become your way to get pleasure because you've got nothing else. So how do we overcome this? Do we sit and wait to feel ready before we make a change? Or do we go, I need some new things in my life. I'm not doing enough. I've got to force myself to do these things. Because right now, the most exciting thing I've got is what I can eat at the end of the day. Like, guys, I love food as just as much as the next person. But I don't want what I'm having for tea to be the highlight of my day. I'm not trying to be condescending here. But that's quite sad. For the most exciting thing, I'm actually sad for you. If you're sitting here right now listening to these words and going, Sam, you've just described me. I've got nothing going on. All I've got's, well, nothing except food. That's literally the highlight of my day. I'm sad for you. I'm actually sad for you. I'm devastated for you. I don't want that to be your life. Food should not be the most exciting thing in your life. There's a problem if it is. So how do we process that? We'll start getting some other things. We replace it. We don't wait until we've got no issues with food anymore and then we'll start doing what we want to do with our life. We'll start doing it now. Again, not obvious. Under the surface. I have to have a conversation with my clients about their relationships. Relational health, excuse me, is one of the biggest factors of mental health, right? Tony Robbins, great personal development guy, very famous. You might have heard of him all over YouTube, has been around for years. He's like 6'9" with a big booming American voice, does all this self-help stuff. This talks a lot of sense, actually. He's very American, right? Very happy clappy, you know. Us Brits are a bit more, relaxed, Anyways, Tony Robbins has a great quote. The quality of your mental health will be dictated by the quality of your relationships. And I always make this joke, even though I'm not really joking, but I'm sort of trying to be humorous to lighten the mood with my clients. I go, hey, I'm not a relationship coach, but I might as well be. So when I'm doing coaching calls with clients, it's like, right, this person's triggered me. This person's pissed me off. This person said this and did that and did this. Basically, healing your relationship with food is learning how to handle your thoughts about other people, learning how to become connected in your personal relationships again, looking at your intimate relationships, your marriage, your family relationships. How functional are they? Looking at your sense of community. If I've got a client who says, Sam, I'm isolated, I'm lonely, I'm not getting on with my partner, we don't even speak, or they're going through a breakup or a divorce, or like the lockdown of many years ago, there's no social connections, everyone isolated, then food can take the place of a lover that you don't have. Food can take the place of a safe, stable relationship with a parent that you never got. Food can take the place of an intimate sense of community that you don't have. Food can take the place of lack of meaningful experiences that you would normally get with other people that you're not getting. So you turn into food. Food can be the shoulder to cry on. Food can be where you get your pleasure from. Food can be sometimes the only friend that you've got. Because food's not going to hurt you. It's not going to let you down. It's going to give you what you want without asking what it wants in return. It's going to give you that instant, short-term distraction from what's actually missing in your life. You've got to think about your relationships if you want to look at healing your relationship with food, because that could be the driving factor behind why you keep turning to it. Again, I mentioned past traumas before. Got some statistics here for you. This, where I got my information, by the way, Dr. Nicole LePera, she's got a great book called How to Be the Love That You Seek. Fantastic book. These are direct quotes from her book. Food is usually how people from difficult or neglectful homes start soothing themselves. They love they don't get creates an empty hole, and food becomes a way to fill it. Most eating disorders aren't disorders. They're attempts of gaining control after a childhood of betrayal, violation, or emotional neglect. Overeating is an attempt to bury the shame, to forget painful memories, or to make sure that no one will look at us again or want to violate us again. Behind all disordered eating habits is rage. It's a desire to disconnect from our bodies because we feel so much shame and disgust. And this last one, research shows children who experience childhood, emotional, neglect, or sexual abuse are 4 times more likely to develop an eating disorder. I learned this in 2020. Shocked me, but it made sense. Can't bring up confidential things, right? But all clients I work with, they've got their own story. I've had thousands of conversations on this. This is more common than you think. I'm well versed in this. Well versed in helping people with this. Just thought I'd put them in there. In case you thought I'm making this up, go directly to the source, Nicole LePera, How to Be the Love That You Seek. Disconnection from childhood trauma. This could literally be some sort of traumatic experience you've had, or maybe you just had parents who they never hurt you or abused you, but they were emotionally lacking awareness. They never allowed you to express emotions. They didn't make emotions safe. You weren't able to open up. You were shamed or criticized or judged for having feelings. Maybe your parents struggle with that mental health themselves, and generational trauma is a thing. Generational trauma is not memories passed down. Generational trauma is coping mechanisms passed down. The reason that you turn to food for comfort could literally be from some sort of trauma response that you've developed from the dynamic with a parent who was displaying that trauma response from the dynamic that they developed with their parent, and so on and so on. That's how generational trauma passes down. It passes down in the form of behaviors, reactions, responses, coping mechanisms, beliefs, This is everyone, by the way. Doesn't necessarily mean you've been through a specific isolated event. You can use your own imagination about what a past trauma may be. But this could just mean the way you grew up, not having a parent there, seeing your parents fight, having addiction in your family, witnessing some traumatic things that a child shouldn't have seen, being around a home where your mum and dad worked all the time and weren't able to give you any attention or energy, like a Charlotte figure. Sometimes childhood trauma isn't what happened to you. It's about what you didn't get from your parents that you were supposed to get. Attention, energy, love, unconditional, not conditional. Unfortunately, people lack coping skills from their own trauma, and that carries on into childhood. And we are all sitting here right now able to resonate to that and go, well, maybe my mum and dad tried their best, or maybe they didn't, but yeah, I didn't get out of that unscathed. Nobody did. Number 5, disconnection from the natural world. Are you getting outside enough? Are you breathing enough fresh air? Are you eating the right foods? Goes far beyond just eating processed foods. Are you getting in nature? Are you connected with your intimate relationships? Are you having sex with your partner? Are you seeing friends? Are you moving around? Are you exercising? All these things are natural things that a human does. We're supposed to have intimate, close relationships. We're supposed to be outside. We're supposed to be eating non-processed food that was designed for us by Mother Nature. We're supposed to move our body. We're supposed to have a sense of community. We're supposed to be sleeping properly. If any of those things are impacted, say this is all things associated with health and well-being, including your eating habits, they'll create disconnections in your life. And food may be used as a coping mechanism to soothe from that. Again, the Charlotte character, constantly comparing herself to others. A lot of conversations I've had with clients who work with me directly in my programs and courses had terrible comparison habits. They'd constantly compare themselves, see where they're at in the pecking order compared to everyone else, compare themselves financially, physically, emotionally, status-wise, family-wise, relationship-wise, on social media every day, obsessing over what everyone else is doing, driving them bloody balmy to where they get to the point when they're like, I'm so low down on this pecking order, I'm not good enough because everyone else is up here, whether that's real or not. You've created that sense of belief because of what you're focused on. You end up coping with food. You end up turning to a coping mechanism because you don't feel good enough. Social comparisons create disconnection with the self. Not with anyone else, with the self. You'll become disconnected from yourself when you compare yourself in negative ways. The last one. I'm going to start this one by asking you some questions. What are you most excited about in your life? What can you not wait to get out of bed every single morning to do? What are you most looking forward to? What's the best thing you've got in your life right now? What's your sense of purpose? Who are you? Describe that to me. Who are you? What is your life about? What is meaningful to you? If you can't answer that question, you're just like, well, I don't really know who I am. I don't really know what my purpose is. I feel stuck in life. I feel in between things. I feel like life's passing me by. I'm worried about the future. I've got no certainty. I don't know where I'm headed. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what track I'm going down. I feel overwhelmed. I feel anxious. There's nothing to look forward to in my life. Well, that's why you're struggling with your relationship with food. Because when we don't have a sense of hope, we can't cope. When we don't have meaning to our life, excuse me, everyone's got problems and challenges and issues, guys. But you can only overcome those issues if you have a sense of meaning to your life. Meaning, this is why I'm going to push through and do this hard thing. If you don't have that, you just say, what's the point? No point in trying. It's never going to get better. This is all it is. There's just no point. I give up. Why would you push through difficult things if you're just like, well, there's no point anyway because my life's on a road to nowhere? So a big part of solving the emotional eating or the binge cycle or any disordered eating habits is creating a sense of certainty in your life again, creating some goals, being able to answer the question of this is who I am, this is what lights me up, this is what I'm passionate about, this is what I'm working towards. These are the most important things in my life that I'm so excited about that no negative emotion, although they will hurt in that moment, will stop me from pursuing. And if I fall down, I'll pick myself up. And if I fall down again, I'll pick myself up again. And I'll try and I'll try and I'll try until I win because this matters so much to me. If you don't have that in your life, you'll just give up the moment life gets difficult. You'll just cease to try. And this is all of us, by the way. We all reach this point when we're just like, I'm exhausted. Nothing's going to plan. I'm burnt out. I can't see a way out. What's the point? Some people have unfortunately been in this drift for decades. I was in this drift for 3 or 4 years, not really having any sort of sense of hope. What's the point? Nothing to look forward to in my life. No sense of purpose, no sense of certainty. Relationships all over the place. Mental health all over the place. Diet and body all over the place. I had no certainty or order in my life. I was just winging it one day to the next. I was in that cycle for 3 or 4 years. If you've been in the cycle for 3 or 4 decades, it's time you did something about it. So let's have a look at this then. I want to see in the chat box, which ones did you resonate from those 7 voids that I talked about? This is what's creating the lack of order in your life. This is why when you've tried to lose weight in the past, it didn't work because you weren't creating order in these areas of your life. When you try and diet without following this blueprint, you fail miserably. When you try and deal with negative emotions without having a strategy related to this blueprint, you'll eventually give up. When you try and stop emotionally eating without having a framework to work towards that's creating order in your personal life, the results will be temporary at best. Which one came up for you? All of them, Karen M says. Carrie says, nothing, I have no idea what I'm doing. Does that mean the sense of purpose or nothing came up for you? Because I very much doubt nothing came up for you. Yeah. My mind's also blown at this chat box. There's someone here called Sam Gibson. That's my name. So who's Sam Gibson? Is someone logged into my Zoom account or something? Or have we generally got a doppelganger here? I'd love to know. Oh, Carrie's cleared that up for me. All of them are meaningful to me apart from the natural world. Great. So whether it's 1 out of 7, whether it's 7 out of 7, whether it's 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If you try and just get out of this cycle by going on another diet, not learning how to regulate your emotions, not following the blueprint I've taught you about today, you haven't got a cat and hell's chance at ending this binge cycle or losing weight. I'm sorry to tell you. But if your time wanting to eat better, that's what I teach my clients how to do. Wanting to lose weight, because that's what I teach my clients how to do. Wanting to eat healthier, because that's what I teach my clients how to do. But also combine it with this, then you're going to get the best results possible, best results imaginable. You can't just rely on willpower and discipline and grit and motivation and hard work and dieting and training alone if you struggle with the things that I've talked about today. You've got to follow a tried and tested blueprint. My final point, my final statement. You don't need to fix your diet. You already know what to do to lose weight. You already know what foods you like. You know what foods you digest well. You know what foods are healthy and you know what foods are not. You've read the diet books. You've done the courses. You've had the personal trainers. You've got the MyFitnessPal. You've been to Slimming World. You know all that shit, right? And it's all useful. It all helps, right? But it ain't going to get you to the level that you want to get to. What you need to do is fix your relationship with control, with uncertainty, with disorder in your life, with the lack of order. You need to create a bloody plan. You need to work towards a life that's meaningful. You need to work on those areas I've talked about today and take them seriously. And if you're saying 7 out of 7, okay, you pick the easiest one first and you forget about the other 6 for now and you start with the easiest. Then you move on to the next one and the next one. The process may take you years, may take you months. You might be able to make a few changes in only 8 or 9 weeks. I don't know what current voids you're resonating with right now, but what I do know is you're resonating with this on a deep emotional level in some way, shape or form. Because I've took thousands of people through this process. I've been through this process myself. These methods are tried and tested. They cannot fail. What I can't do is just give you a guarantee of how long or what it's going to look like. But if pursued relentlessly, with support, with help, with the personal responsibility on your end, with the willingness to try new things, with the willingness Step out your comfort zone, and I guarantee they'll all work, and I guarantee you'll get the results that you desire. So, I'm not into sales pitches. I'm not going to sit here and go, here's how I can help you change your life. The reality is, you've already heard something from me tonight that's going to change your life. I know that, so I'm all right with that. I don't need to do the hard sell. But what I will say is, my offer to you, if you want some help and support with this, the chance to work with me directly, the chance to follow a proven system, and I've got something amazing for you. My Mind Over Munchies course is opening up this week, and for anyone who joined tonight's webinar, I've got an exclusive discount for you, to where you get access to thousands of pounds worth of resources for only £97. Who is this program for? People who struggle with yo-yo dieting, not had a healthy relationship with food for years or possibly decades. People who tried every diet under the sun, only to end up back in the same place a few weeks or months later. People who feel lost and confused about their eating habits, to where they almost feel like giving up. People who are done with restrictive diets. And you answered that question that I said at the start of, have you had your rock bottom, I am done moment and I'm never doing this again. I have to learn how to regulate my emotions. This is for you. It's an 8-week course. It's not one-to-one coaching, but I will, even because I love yous and I appreciate yous for coming on today, throw in a one-to-one call if you decide to join us. That's all I'm going to say about it. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send the link in the chat box right now. If you want to take a look at it, because you would have made your mind up already if you're like, you know what, I'm even remotely curious about knowing what the next steps are with Sam. You'll know that. If you're like, yeah, this is not for me, Sam doesn't know what he's talking about, he's a bit of an arsehole, then you've already made your mind up as well. I don't need to convince you. You've already convinced yourself one way, shape, or form. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pop this in the chat box. I'm going to let you check out the link. There is an exclusive discount where it will double in price in the next 48 hours. If you want to save yourself a nice chunk of change and start this process with me now, rather than letting this get worse, there's the link. There is the link. This is the point where I'd normally take questions. I'm up for hanging around and answering any questions you've got. Has anyone got any questions for me? How could I possibly serve you right now while I'm in the zone? I'd love to know. Chat is disabled. I forgot about that. All good, all good, all good. Tell you what, I'll email every single person who's joined this webinar tonight. It's all good. The chat box, I'll know that for next time. I'll know that for next time. I will email every single person the link. Debbie Pierce, they all resonate with me. Carrie, all of them are meaningful to me. Kath, lack of status in society, intimate relationships. All of them, says Karen. Guys, this has been a really good training. I'm proud of everyone who showed up tonight. This is uncomfortable, isn't it? What I've said tonight's like, boom, out there. I know I've probably melted your heads right now. But I just want to let you know there's a place to overcome this. There's a tried and proven, tested method. If I've done this and thousands of other people have helped done this, then what means you can't do it? And whether you decide to join me directly and you want to team up, then I'm sure you'll let me know if you do. Or whether you're just like, yeah, I need to change, whether that's on your own, with someone else, with me, I'm not particularly bothered. What I am bothered about is, don't let this get worse, okay? You deserve more than that. You deserve a better life than the one you've got now. You deserve to be able to eat food for pleasure without the guilt and shame, because food's bloody lovely. And on that note, I'm going to let you go, because I'm hungry. It's hungry work, this. delivering masterclasses for dozens of people. So to the 20 odd people who turned up today, from the bottom of my heart, I mean this. I appreciate you supporting me. Whether it's you followed me on Facebook, you've seen this Facebook ad, you joined on my email list, whether it's you're one of my clients and you just wanted to come on and show me some support, I appreciate every single one of you. The final thing, I said a promise at the start. I said, I'm going to give you a framework to provide you with some next logical steps about what you need to do to move forward. Let me know. Did I give you that clarity? Do you now feel, I know what I need to do? I might not have everything figured out, but I've got a direction again. Because that was my promise. My promise was to let you know this is the direction that you need to take. Have we got that tonight? Seems like it's landed. Pamela's. Thank you, Pamela. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Sarah, thank you for your message. I'm blown away. Thank you so much for that. Mary's asked me, stress and work boredom at home. Snacking is my issue. Can you help with that? Yeah, that's what the entire course is about. Click the link when I send you it. It gives you a full breakdown of everything you need to know. Like I say, I don't need to give you the hard sell, right? You'll convince yourself whether this is right for you. You'll know it. You'll feel it, right? And if it's not, fair enough. If it is, let's go. But yes, I can help you with that. Yeah, Susanna says, wish the chat box was working. Yeah, Susanna's done my course before. Susanna, I'll probably tell you. Debbie says, I know my food noise is reduced so much day to day, but diet noise when I'm struggling, my personal life is still there. Sorry to hear that. Working with you allows me to recognize this and bring you, oh, this is my client, Debbie. Yeah, Debbie's smashing it. Yeah, definitely uncomfortable, Karen. However, things that are uncomfortable are normally hitting where it needs to hit, right? Hence the term uncomfortable truths. Yeah, Suzanne, great webinar. I'd be really interested in your course. I'd be really interested in having a chat with you, Suzanne. So yeah, reply to one of the emails I send out. I'll literally send an email out after this to everyone who joined tonight. Click the link. See if it's for you. Okay. Kath's asked a good question. Could it be that you have worked really hard on the 7 voids? That's definitely also possible. But emotional eaters become habit because they weren't working before. Yeah, so this can be an ongoing thing. So just because you've worked really hard on them doesn't mean that you're quite where you want to be. That could also mean you've made massive changes to them already, but you're just not quite where you want to be yet. In my experience, emotional eating tends to be like one of the last things to be fully phased out. So what I say to my clients is when they join my program, you'll see a massive reduction in emotional eating almost immediately from the strategies that I teach you. But then you will struggle with it from time to time, and that's all about the response. So you'll see a massive reduction, but when it still happens, you'll have a framework to where you're able to respond. Because the reality is, guys, what keeps people stuck in this weight gain cycle, it's not the binge that you have, it's how you behave after it. It's the carrying it on, it's the giving up, it's the feeling sorry for yourself, it's the not getting back on track. So I teach my clients how to resolve that. So emotional eating may still be an ongoing thing for a long time. But if we can phase that out to the point it's barely even an issue anymore, then weight loss is easy. Jane, thank you. Sam, appreciate your time and knowledge. Thank you, Jane. Harry said, my question about control, I feel everything has to be black and white. Is this a control issue? So listen, I'm a bit of a control freak as well, but I know I can only control things that I can control. And if I'm stressing about things outside of my control, that's a me issue and not a control issue. It's a you issue. So it's all right to be black and white and knowing what you can control, what you can't control, but are you accepting what you can't? Because if you're trying to control everything, including other people, including predicting the future, including your emotions, you can't control your emotions, you can just learn how to respond to them, then you're going to freak yourself out and then you're going to build so much pressure that you'll end up giving up and coping with food. So it sounds like you're trying to control too many things right now, and maybe it's not about is it black or white, it's about can I actually solve this problem or not, yes or no. Relinquishing control, solving the problem by subtraction rather than addition is often a better strategy. Can I just let go of this thing that's just stressing me out so much right now. And even though I really wish I could control it, I'm just going to let it go. But I will double down on this thing that I can actually control. Yeah? Like, might sound crazy, right? There's a lot of things in your life that you can't control, but you can't control what you put in your mouth. The reason you can't control that is because you're trying to control things outside of what you put in your mouth that you cannot actually change or control. Other people, how they think, how they behave, the past, the future, your worries, other people comparing yourself to, all those things. The things that you stress yourself out with about control are often things that you can't even control anyway. And they're just creating so much pressure that the very things that you can control, what you put in your mouth, you can't do it because you're just out of control, right? So your relationship with control is everything. Yeah. Right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to know more about working with me in my course, Mind Over Munchies, directly message me or reply to the emails I send out. Click the link. It'll be available. And if you want to save over 100 quid, join in the next 48 hours, okay? Guys, I'm going to love yous and leave yous. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm glad I've delivered on my promise of giving you some things to work on, a direct framework. I'm so pleased that I had the chance to deliver this for you. I'm blessed. I truly am. Right, I'm going to go and have my tea because I am hungry. Natural hungry. Good hungry because I haven't eaten in a few hours. I'm going to go home, have some nice food and chill out because tomorrow is another big day. Guys, I'll see you next time. Appreciate you.